What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Having myself a little bit of a sing-song, pulling out the classic songs. You know, always on my mind, Bitcoin, the Willie Nelson's classic. Anyway, so what's going on? What hasn't been going on? Bitcoin's been taking a bit of a tumble, and today's live stream, I'm going to make sure that you guys have an understanding of what could potentially happen with Bitcoin and talk about specific zones it needs to hold. Word on the street is Bitcoin can't go any lower, and this is the absolute bottom before Bitcoin starts making a move up. Until we are given a reason to believe so, we need to be focusing on the next areas lower that Bitcoin could take if it sustains this move to the downside. So let's have a conversation, gang. All right, then, so here we go. We got ourselves a little bit of a timer in the top right over there, ladies and gentlemen, so let's get with the flavor. What do I think is going to happen? Okay, then. Well, we need to go over to the daily time frame first and have a look at where Bitcoin is. Again, it's trying this area right here, all right? Now, I've been saying that Bitcoin, if it breaks this zone completely, it's done. We're working our way towards Vectorville, all the way down towards this 23 zone and then the 21,000 zone. And it's holding out in this area. Now, I believe, quite frankly, we might not get that much movement today. We might get a bit of a stop run to the upside or even to the downside. But the main move is going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow is the inflation data. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to make sure that you are labeling off on your calendars at 1:30 GMT, which is 8 a.m. Eastern Standard. That's when the key inflation data comes out. Has the chart been prepared for this data? Now, we mentioned it last night in the live in the video that I done last night. But Bitcoin is currently holding this daily 800 EMA. And it's so important that it holds it, because if it can't hold this zone, Bitcoin's going to lose that support. It's the last area of support for Bitcoin visibly in the chart that will suggest to me that if it can't hold it, it's going to break down. So we have to go and have a look at what's going on elsewhere to justify Bitcoin's area of support. So we go over to the Bookmap itself. Now, the Bookmap, as always, is great for day trading opportunities. Right now, we can see Bitcoin is trading above the VWAP, which is this white line right here at the 27,620 zone. What I want to see is I want to see Bitcoin come down and test that area. And if I see that happening, then there is a good idea that at that point, we're going to know if interest that's been coming in above the VWAP is going to continue. See, when we zoom out, we can see that this area right here, there is a lot of interest. If you notice, look at all these orders, these orange areas here. These are orders which are suggesting that traders, institutional traders, hedge fund managers using the order book are placing orders waiting to be filled. Now, sometimes they cancel them. Don't get it twisted. That's what you would call a spoof. It's a fake order, all right? Now, as long as these guys come into the chart, if the VWAP is tested, then we would have a good idea that this could be a short-term area of support for Bitcoin. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm going to be paying close attention to this area, because the issue that I've got, how likely could they actually mark price down towards that zone? Well, if we zoom in, at this point, we have got collectively, we've got an area of interest which sits right now. We've got 637 Bitcoin orders at this point of 27,000, between 27,700 and 27,680. But the VWAP sits at 27,620. So for my day traders, we're looking to see if they can sustain the 27,620. So we go into the 1 hour time frame. We zoom in and we highlight the 27,620, which puts us in around this area right here. Let's just mark it off to make life a little bit easier. I'm struggling right there. Cool. That's our area of support. But look what happened. We've got green vector candles coming into play. So what do we need to see now? Well, look, we've had volatile moves since yesterday. Now, would we be expecting a bit of a retrace? That's correct. I'm looking for the retrace to happen, because Bitcoin has been dropping nonstop since the start of the psychological ranges this week. Now, the principle says that if any asset that trades away from the psychological ranges, which are right here, these two lines, so the price point at 29,144 and the price point of 28,740, we're going to be on the assumption that the rest of the week is going to be trading lower. Now, what are we looking for to suggest that they're going to try and come back up? Well, let's just break down our scope. Let's have a look at where we are. So we have got vector candle zone up here, which sits at the psychological low. I've got another vector right here at 28,567. Inside of that range, I've got this area right here. So this is where the vectors reside from the move from the weekend to mark Bitcoin down. Now, what does the hybrid system say? Well, when I'm trading, I'm looking for certain candlesticks to come into play at these areas. Why? Because we've just had a move away from the moving average. You see this gap right here? That is the move away from the moving average. That tells me that we've just seen volatility. So the market is naturally going to gravitate back to the median, and the median would be the 50 EMA. Now, before I even consider trying to take trades, I'm getting information right now about this zone. So we have 3 areas of resistance right now that price can trade into. The first zone is this cloud. That's the lower band of the 50 EMA cloud. Now, the 50 EMA cloud is effectively a Bollinger Band attached to the 50 EMA. So that's our first zone. The second zone would be the 50 EMA itself. And the third zone would be the upper band of the cloud. So these are our 3 areas of resistance right now in the chart of Bitcoin on the 1-hour time frame. So what am I going to be looking for? I need to see Bitcoin trade into the lower band of the 50 EMA. From that point, a clean break above the 50 EMA would give me the reason to believe that once they move up into that zone, they're going to retest back into it to test the same intention of traders at that 50 EMA. So if we go back in the charts, I'll show you an example. Look at this. Look at this range. Big movement into the cloud, so I'm paying attention. It's gone above the cloud, happy days. But I've got vector candles right here that I've got to be cautious of. So I would be expecting them to retrace back into those zones. This is what you call a vector candle continuation zone. Because they've brought it back down into that same area, and that same area happened to trigger a lot of traders to go short. Why? Because the guys that went short on this move to the downside, if you see, from the top side of 29,090 all the way down towards the 27,679 zone, a lot of traders were running shorts. Mr. Market Maker reverses price all the way back up again. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the reversal back up to retrace back into it to give me the belief that they're finished with this zone right here. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, can I take this information from the past and correlate that to what's going on right now? So we go over to the chart itself and we can see I've got the 50 EMA cloud. Now I'm looking for Bitcoin to come up, take out this 50 EMA cloud zone, go into the upper band, and I would be expecting vector candles to appear inside of this area. Trading is not about being in the trade all the time and hoping that you're going to see your profit come into fruition. That's not how it works. You have to wait. I would be waiting for Bitcoin to give me the proof that it wants to come back up and attack this area right here. Because it would only make sense that they move back into the same point that they sold from, because that's where most of the interest is. So we look at these vector candle points and we say, okay, 28,567, what's up there? Well, we take the Bookmap and have a look, and we then say, okay, 28,567, we zoom out. Do we have any liquidity up there? Well, it's all the way at the top side of the chart. It's out of my scope in relation to the Bookmap. At 28,000, I've got 457 Bitcoin orders. And I'm looking here, and I've got this area right here. Look, see this? This whole zone is an area of a potential test for the VWAP. So we go into the VWAP right now, and we see what's Bitcoin doing. It's trying to work its way down towards that VWAP at 27,620. So now the information is coming in. Now I'm getting my information. I want to see the test of the VWAP because that's where they last moved from. Why would you not want to see that logic? That's what I'm looking for. So we wait to see, can they actually break down towards the VWAP? Once they come down to the VWAP, that should then recover Bitcoin's area right here of the vector candles. Remember what we said over here? When I'm looking for them to come down to, well, test an area, I want to see them recover these vector candles first. Okay? Now, going to the smaller time frames, let's break down the story. So we know that this 50 EMA cloud is a vector zone, or should I say, an area of resistance. So I'm going to highlight this on the chart. That's our area, okay? Going to the 15-minute time frame, where are we? All right then, cool. So that's our area of resistance. I'm looking at the chart now and I can see that I've got the 50 EMA below price. That's good news. I've also got another added confluence. What do you see? I see the daily open. They've tested it once, dropped away from it. Tested it twice, dropped away from it. They've broken through it. So, psychologically, I can see that market maker has probed the daily open. So he's been testing the daily open and he's effectively got traders trapped in shorts. Because a trader that would see that would thinking, right, Bitcoin's trading positive. I don't think it's going to go positive. It's going to end up lower. It comes down. Market maker gives that retail trader that belief. Then he instantly comes away from the zone. So now we're adding more confluence to our decision in favoring movement to the upside. All right. Now, this candlestick right here must stay within this region. And what region is that? This zone. So that's the upper band of the 50 EMA cloud and then the 50 EMA itself. As long as Bitcoin stays inside of this zone, we are then going to be favoring and anticipating the reversal back up. That's what I want to be seeing happening from this zone right now, because they're giving me information about this area anyway. So logically, I'm saying, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next. All I can do is take the information that I have in front of me, and it's continuously changing. That's the issue with trading. You're always having to respond continuously to the change of information. It's not, right, that's it, it's going to stay like that, and then your trade will play out because you did your analysis. No, you could spend all day doing your analysis, and then it just goes in the pan, and it ends up being a dustbin trade. What happens there? Does it discredit you as an analyst of your trading in Bitcoin? No. It just means that we haven't had the confluences. We haven't actually had the psychology taken into consideration. Right now, the psychology is being put to the test. They broke the daily open. They've come back into it, and it looks like they're trying to reject it. We're looking to see if they can get their way up towards this zone. Now, some of you might want to trade into that region. Depends. If Bitcoin's going to continue to drop lower, a retrace will be on the cards, because they're only going to want to sell it into the people that believe it's going to go up. Remember, some people are thinking Bitcoin can't go any lower. This is the advert for those guys. This is the buy the dip. Trap them. CPI data comes out, rips it to the downside. Let's go into something else that's going to help you understand and add again the piece to the puzzle. So we have had the dollar dominance non-stop moving up, okay? Now, in my projection this morning to the patrons of the channel, I was talking to them and saying to them, I'm expecting dollar to come up and take all of these zones. And the reason for that is because of the interest that I can see happening at the lows of 106. Now, this area is very significant because this is a big key support area for the dollar. They had the vector candles up here that they've traded into, and they've successfully taken this range. We go into the chart itself. We zoom out, and that's where we are. The move has happened. They've recovered the vectors. So that means this morning I was in essence encouraging people to only be favoring shorts, because when the dollar dominance goes up, assets against the US dollar come down. So now that we know that's the case, we then go into the idea of the euro, because the dollar is, well, the euro makes up 56% of the dollar itself, the dollar index, and euro is currently breaking down, and it's completely recovered this green vector candle region right here. Okay? Traded away from the psychological ranges. Now, this is Forex. All right? I'm only looking for euro to come and attack some of these vector candles down at these zones. So 1.08898. That would be the next area of interest, in my opinion, for euro if dollar continues its steam up. But what's interesting is Bitcoin sometimes doesn't stick with the dollar. It doesn't go down when the dollar goes up, and it doesn't go up when the dollar goes down. So what else do we use? We use the S&P. Going to the S&P. The S&P's trade is stepping on a thin area right now. It's touching very thin ice. It looks consistent with a top. And in tonight's video, I'm going to be explaining to you guys on what I think is going to be happening in the bigger picture. So make sure you check that one out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you are here new, welcome to the hybrid family, the system, the pattern watchers. I need to introduce myself. My name's Tino, if you didn't know. Happy days. Anyways, with that flavor, the idea is that if Bitcoin has a correlation with the S&P of around 73%, we're going to assume that S&P going down, Bitcoin's going to go down. Now, for all my guys that may be trading order flow that use EXO charts, even if it's a few people, it's fine. And if you are new and you don't know what I'm doing right now in this chart, don't worry about it. I'll explain it clear. Here we go. So to the left of us right here, guys, let me get Bitcoin's price up to put things into perspective for you. And I'm going to talk about some altcoins as well. Here we go. Get rid of all of this stuff. Happy days. Right. Bitcoin right now, on the left side here, you can see we have got value area low, which is a val. We've got the point of control, and we have the VWAP, and then we've got the opening price, and then we've got the value area high. This shaded area here is an area of happy medium, okay? It's the area where there is enough people that are in agreement that that's where price should be trading from, okay? That's where we're in agreement. So imagine you've got lots of people that want to buy a painting, okay? And if there's 100 people in this building, 70 of those people are standing looking at buying this painting, okay? So the majority is favoring this one painting. It could be a painting of me that I'm going to be releasing for my OnlyFans, but it's up to you, whatever it is. But take the idea of what I'm suggesting right now with this area. This area tells us there is an agreement. So in order to test that area, they need to move price away from it to see if they can get any more interest up here. Maybe try and get the guys who aren't so interested in the painting to go and get interest elsewhere, because the market's job is to extract money, okay? Right now in the chart, Bitcoin is looking like it wants to move back up. And as long as this area, this gray area, as long as we start seeing interest coming in inside of this area, we would then assume that the open is an area of support. We would then assume that the VWAP is an area of support, which we haven't tested yet. And we would then assume that the point of control, where there's 1,100 contracts, would be an area of support. So if Bitcoin can make its way back up again and start testing the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, we are on the idea that value has moved. So now they're going to naturally want to bring it back down again. That's why Bitcoin is a volatile asset, because everyone's perception of value changes. If it moves all the way up towards this price point right here of 27,984, then at that point, we would expect them to reverse from it. Why? Because they've just hit the median of the range. Lots of people have made an attempt to get long. And also, people that were in a short right here are probably rushing for cover. All right? So all we're doing now is we're getting all this information to say, you know what? Why could I justify a move back up for Bitcoin? Going back into EXO charts, the value area high, which is this dark gray area here, has got people waiting there. There are orders there. The market will naturally gravitate to these areas to just take the liquidity, give them the belief that that is where price should be trading at, and the value area high will then act as a resistance. So if Bitcoin can make its way all the way up towards hypothetically 27,661, where we've got around 351 Bitcoin orders there, at that point, the market maker can effectively reverse the order book and bring price back down again, okay? This is what we mean about order flow. But if this is not for you, not to worry. We've got the hybrid system. We use the 50 EMA as our areas of resistance. Remember, we said the 50 EMA cloud is 27,908. We've got the 50 EMA, which is at 27,982. And then we've got the cloud itself at 28,116. Even if you bring that bad boy back up, that would then take the value area high all the way up here. So our value area high is in this area between 27,809 and then, of course, at the low point at 27,707. So 27,707 takes us to this area here. And then the 27,809 will take us towards this area zone right here. Okay? So this is where we would, in principle, by the logic of the order book, we would assume that Bitcoin's going to reverse from this area, because that's what it did last time. But what if they bring it back up again? they go to attempt that, then those same guys will get triggered and say, you know what, I'm feeling Bitcoin's price moving up. Yeah, happy days. Then the market would have trapped the people. They would then reverse price back up again and then try and do the same thing here further up. Are we all on the same page? That's what I'm looking for Bitcoin to do. Go into the smaller time frames and make sense of it like that. So we've got the 5-minute time frame. Price is trading above the 50 EMA. Look at that respect. Look at what I'm saying to you. Look, this is despicable. How do you get such precision at the daily open? Look at that. That is frightening because there is interest at that zone. We've already broken down the psychology that the market maker doesn't want price lower. We've now got to just sit and absorb this movement because at any time he could smack it down and we've got to be cool with that. This is the price you pay when you trade the hardest, easiest way to make money. The information can change. Yes, the daily open right there is now acting as a support until it's not. We still have the cloud. We still have the 200 EMA. So now we're building information about favoring a move up. So we're now looking at the chart saying, okay, what do we need to see Bitcoin doing? It needs to hold this daily open so that I can believe it's going to continue back up again. All right. What would prove that it's not the case? Price would need to break below the 50 EMA cloud and the 200 EMA on the 5-minute time frame. All right. If it does that, the thing you're looking for, just in case you think it's a fake move, you're waiting for them to test back into it. Because on the 5-minute time frame below the daily, you've got two areas of support again. You've got this area here, which happens to be the 27,500 region in that zone. And we take that, go into the order book, and we look at the VWAP, and that's the 27,620 zone. So we know there's support at the VWAP. 620 will put us in this area right here. So now we're seeing, okay then, look, we've got an area right now where we don't need to commit money into until the criteria has been met. They invalidate the VWAP. You want to see a fast candle coming down, try and get back into it, failure, and then it will continue lower. Bitcoin will then come and test this stopping volume candle. You will have to be ready to take both sides, because if you're favoring just longs, you're then missing out on what they could be doing to trap you in a long, okay? Likewise, if you're favoring shorts, you don't want to get caught out in a short when Bitcoin is about to reverse, because you've got to have some consideration to the levels. You've got to have consideration to where they could reverse from. We want them to test the VWAP. There we go. The VWAP is now being tested. So now you are met the criteria. I've met the criteria to the long trade right now. First part, they've tested the VWAP. Now, what reason do I have to stay with my basis of Bitcoin moving up from this point? Well, I have to zoom out now and I have to look at this and say, okay, right. If they're going to hold this zone, these guys over here in the Bookmap are going to show an interest and lift price up. So now I'm preserving capital. I'm not blindly going into a trade. I want to be making sure that they reverse from this zone, because they pull away from this zone. That's going to give me the heads up that Bitcoin is probably going to try and make an attempt back up again and try and grab traders' liquidity. So then we have to play the patient game. Okay. Now, let me just go into some altcoins, guys. So I've got a couple of altcoins for you that are making some big moves. So we've got BSV, Turbo, Audi, and LDO. So I'm going to bring these bad boys up for you. So check this out. Alts with volume. So Audi, check this out. On the 5-minute time frame, it is a low cap stock and low cap crypto. Whenever, this is what I look for with altcoins. I look for the biggest move up. Okay, that's all I'm looking for, because it's only sell liquidity. Something's happened with this coin, and now I'm looking for it to come back down and fully recover the green vector candle, because it's sell side liquidity. That's all I'm looking for. As long as Bitcoin keeps moving lower, then the general consensus is these altcoins will keep moving lower as well, because there's pressure to pull price down across the board. All right. Second asset, BSV. Look at that. Now we've got a little bit more information now. Look at this. It hasn't fully recovered the zones just yet. We have had, in principle, this area here spike up, this area here, a little bit of a move, and then retrace back down again. So we've got to be careful, because this coin might not be finished just yet, okay? Now, this is all I look for. I'm not interested in what the coin does. I'm not interested in who owns it. I don't look for addresses. I don't look for nothing. Why? Because I'm only looking for volatility. I'm looking for movement, okay? This coin out of the blue, and it is an expensive coin, moved from $29, $30 this morning, and it shot up towards about $44, okay? I'm looking for them to reverse back down, to retrace. Go into the higher time frames and we see a big 4-hour candle, couple of 4-hour candles right there. At minimum, you take the high of the candle wick, go into the actual candlestick on the 4-hour, and you can see that we are not, well, we've in essence recovered some of the vector candle itself beyond 50%, okay? But there are people trapped up here. So my logic says that I'm going to expect them to try and spike down a little bit lower, and then they might even make an attempt back up towards this area to sell it off completely. It's a pump and dump. Just look at the coin itself. Look at the relationship that this coin has overall. Do you see a big pump up? Okay, happy days. They recover it, come back in, and then finally take the rest of the coin. It might not happen straight away, but it will happen. It will take its time to do so because they can't scare the market off like that. That's BSV. I'm going to look at some more altcoins in a short second. So here we go. Perfect V-shaped play right now. To the upside and to the downside. This is a V-shaped play on the 4-hour time frame. What is a V-shaped play? You're looking for red vector candles to appear on the left side of the chart, which we would understand as candlesticks selling off. And then you're looking for candlesticks, green vectors, to start moving price back up again. So people are buying or price is being lifted. We go into this candle right here, LDO. It's a $1.90. Go into the 1-hour time frame, and you can see that we've had a sharp move down, full recovery of the red vector candles. You will always see altcoins recover vectors faster than Bitcoin. Why? Because altcoins don't need that much money to move them. That's why I always call them liquidity runs. They're not altcoins, they're liquidity coins. People will buy it, they get hyped, and then it will come back down again. You want the proof of that? Go to this bad boy right here, PEPE coin. Look at this. We'll go on PEPE. There you go. Classic. Said to you, look, back in. Straight up. Sell-side liquidity. Altcoins will always do this. Altcoins like XRP and Ethereum, they're the only two coins that carry good purpose. Now, I stand to be corrected. I know there are other altcoins out there that do bring the flavor and that have got a good purpose. ADA, I get all of that, okay? I'm not interested in the politics. I'm interested in who's pumping it and who's getting ready to profit from it. And this is what you'll get with the hybrid system. You'll get this flavor right here. The big pump up, liquidity coming back down, because a ton load of liquidity would need to come into play before we expect it to move up even more. Okay, let me just quickly go. We've got 3 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. The markets are in essence open. So let's just go into my altcoins boss list right now and have a look at what any areas that could be doing that. Okay, so KAVA, here we go. Perfect. KAVA is pumping up. All right, altcoins doing the V-shaped play. Happy days. Resistance could be at the 800 EMA, so I would expect them to try and sell from this point aggressively. And if the proof of the pudding is in to mark price even more, then I would expect them to continue and break away from that zone. But just be careful going long in these areas. You might look at the chart and say to yourself, hold on a second. If it's going up here, what's to say it can't continue to go up? Well, the 800 EMA seems to be a bit of a problem for KAVA because every time it comes up towards it, it sells from it. Sell. Logic. Sell. Okay, next coin. What have we got? AVA. So we've had a continuous move to the upside, but it has been dropping down significantly. I'm naturally expecting a bit of a retrace in the altcoins, but we've got vector candle zones right here. Look at the way it's behaving right now. Get closer, and you can see, oh my God, my chest, my heart. We're going into the 50 EMA cloud. This is what you want to see Bitcoin do. Going into the 50 EMA cloud. Green vector candles coming into play. We're now waiting to see if this area here is now acting as the rise. Trade back into the 50. Continuation back up into the psychological ranges. Why? Because we've got the altcoins right here with the vector candle regions in that zone that we would expect them to go back into. Go back in the charts, ladies and gentlemen. Go back in the charts and try and find any altcoin that's doing this. The closer it is to the 50 EMA, like this coin right here, the more information you're going to get about the continuation up or down. Why? Because you want to go into the smaller time frames and have a look at how they're behaving inside. Now, you can see this is a liquidity issue right here. It's, you know, got a few gaps. So I wouldn't really want to be holding on to this for too long because you can get shaken out. Okay, so go and find high liquid coins that are going to make those moves. So let me give you another one. Let me go to JASMY coin. Check this out. JASMY coin moves nicely. It is one thing you want to do with JASMY coin is you'll find something interesting here. All right, check this out. JASMY coin, Japanese, right? look at how it behaves alongside the Japanese yen. So if I bring up the Japanese yen and add it to the chart, you'll see something interesting. Here we go. New price scale. So JASMY coin has been moving up, but the Japanese yen, the futures for the yen, are starting to move up too. So we've had this big drop in the Japanese yen. That means the dollar's gone up. Now the Japanese yen is starting to like hold out in this area. If the Japanese yen, well, you'd actually be able to see, if the Japanese yen holds this zone, then JASMY coin is probably likely to continue higher because it will take the Japanese yen longer to move up. Okay, but if it's in that move back up, so a retrace back up into the midpoint of this range from the drop from this area here to this zone, then I'm going to be expecting JASMY coin to do the same thing. We've had a green vector candle continuation at the daily open, so there's clearly interest right there. So I'm expecting them to try and mark price up to the upside. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the flavor that we've got today. Tonight's video, I'm going to be taking you on a little bit of a journey, so make sure you tune into that bad boy later on this evening. That will be 10 p.m. GMT, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard. Please trade with safety, guys. Don't risk too much money. Always pay yourselves, and mad love and respect for passing through. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel, and you want to learn more about the hybrid system and these sort of ways of trading. Get yourself over to the Patreon, patreon.com/, can't even say it, Traders Reality. What a terrible exit. Mad love and respect, guys. Peace.